Alright, so today I'm going to be basically replacing my steering wheel. I'll show some photos of what it looks like under the tape. It's catastrophically bad. I did try to wrap it with one of those leather covers from AliExpress, but because this is an M Sport wheel, it's a bit thicker than the SE, and despite them advertising it as, well, showing the photo of the cover on top of an M Sport steering wheel, I thought it would fit, but also I didn't know that the SE was thinner than the M Sport, so when it came it didn't fit. I bought another one, the same story basically, so one of the morals is basically buy nice or buy twice. Second of all, be very careful with what you buy when it's made out of Chinesium, when it comes from AliExpress, because obviously the returns policies from certain websites can be difficult and you can lose money. So instead of going through the hassle of trying to wrap it myself and also paying 250 quid for basically refurbing the wheel, I just bought another wheel. So this is one from a 335D, obviously E92. It's exactly the same as this. Obviously from a lower mileage model than this. It's in better condition. Obviously this is disgusting, but this is presentable. It's not perfect, but you know, these are quite expensive. They can actually go for like 250, 200, around 275 pounds, because they're quite uncommon with the paddles. But this one I got for 200 pounds, £10 including shipping. So yeah, and it's in better condition than mine, as you can see there. All this stuff going on at the bottom, so it's in better condition, and obviously I don't drive that much, so it will do the job hopefully. So yeah, I'm going to get to basically disconnecting the wheel. What I've already done is you are meant to disconnect the battery. So you're meant to disconnect the battery if you're doing any electrical work, so I've done that. So I've taken off the negative terminal using a 10mm hex basically in my socket set. So yeah, I've left that for a while, and in the meantime I have been basically restoring the front headlamp, and I did say like 3 times because I basically flopped this so many different times. This one is fine, it's quite nice actually, but that one for some reason, when I put the cheap eBay, yes, that's my new element, scratch removal, the polish, the polish was actually crap anyway, so I had to buy this like G3 scratch remover, and that cleaned up quite nicely. But the UV coating, basically, for some reason, I don't know if it was wet when I applied it or something, but it came up with some like really weird artifacts on the plastic. So I've had to kind of go back and go 800, 1200 and 3000 grit, and then I'm going to reapply that G3 scratch remover, and hopefully it will come out looking somewhat like that. Anyway, going to get to removing this steering wheel now. Airbag is off. By the way, this is not a tutorial on how to do this. There's plenty of good ones. I'll link some in the description. But basically, you stick your screwdriver through. You stick your screwdriver through a little hole here. It's kind of hard to see. Actually, I'll show you on the new wheel. So you stick it through the leather hole, like that. And what you want to do is get it through that this little kind of passage there. That is releasing the clip that holds the airbag on. So I just did it on both sides. Airbag is now off, and you just lift 2 clips with the screwdriver to get them off. And now I'm just going to disconnect the electronics which connect the buttons. Then there's a 16mm hex right there. Got my torque wrench ready for that, and the wheel will come off. And that is now the new one fitted. It's pretty hard to screw up because it only fits in like if it's straight. So you have to make sure the steering wheel's straight, but also I don't know if you can see, but there's a circle, obviously, where it fits in, but also there's a flat edge on the bottom, which is in both the steering rack and on the wheel itself, so it won't actually physically fit in unless it's lined up properly. So just going to get this rewired up, should take not too long, and then we're done. Alright, so that didn't actually work, and the airbag was still wobbly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap this retaining clip from the old one to the new steering wheel, because the steering wheel is definitely identical, but apparently these clips that the airbag latches onto differ from year to year for whatever reason. I can't imagine why, and this is just one of those things, but I'm going to take the wheel off again and then basically deal with this, replace this metal part, this clip or this backing plate with this one, and then hopefully the airbag will fit. So I've got to basically go back and do everything again. My days, man. Taking it off, basically you need a T30 to take off these three here, and then there's a wire here, so this maroon coloured one, this orange one, so you have to basically pull off, it's just a sleeve, a plastic sleeve that's covering a part of metal. So let me just show the exposed one. So that's what it looks like underneath. So you just kind of slide it off. I'll do it off camera because I don't want to break anything, but you just slide that part off, and then that routes round because it's connected here. So if you don't do that, then you're not going to be able to pull it off because this wire's going to be in the way. So you pull that off, make sure all the wires are disconnected, use a T30, take these off, get the backplate off. Alright, so I found the difference. If you look at the left side here, there's a retaining clip for the wire, plastic one. That is not present on the old one, whereas it is on the right side, and it's also on the right side here. So why they choose to do it like this is beyond my comprehension. And it appears there's the part number is the same, 3051626, and that spring has just fallen off from the other one. Let's put that back. But yeah, why they decide to make those small differences, I have no clue. But luckily I went to the Facebook owners page and somebody had the same issue, and somebody had basically said replace the backing metal back plate. So hopefully that's now going to work. If that doesn't, I'm going to be flipping annoyed. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, that has actually worked. I've actually done something that was remotely mechanical, even though I read it off like Facebook, but the point is I did it without having to like watch a YouTube video. I'm actually quite happy. That is fit very nicely and how it should be. So yeah, so what it is this backing plate was different compared to the old one. So that this one has a plastic clip on this side, whereas the other one, the old one, the original one, doesn't. So whenever I sell this new wheel, I have to make sure that the owner is aware of that, so they don't run into the same issue. But basically I'm just going to reinstall the new wheel's backing plate into my old wheel, which is kind of confusing, but I'll do that. Anyway, that is all done now. New steering wheel finally. I've had this car for just under a year, literally like I would have had it a year ago. I think I bought it on 24th of June, today is like the 13th or something, so whole time I've been using this stupid taxi driver's like steering wheel cover, and it did the job, but it makes the wheel really thick and I didn't like it. So finally changed the steering wheel, and actually, you know what, like when I was driving before, because I kind of had a really thick wheel, when I took it off I had to like deal with like this rubber getting on my hands. It just took away so much from the driving experience. And I think the importance of having a nice wheel is like become so apparent to me. So I finally got a new wheel, and I'm going to take it out for a drive in a bit and experience what it's like to actually drive, you know, a car that hasn't got 120,000 miles on it. So at least, you know, through my hands and how I feel it. So yeah,